do the other one, and then tap add source again, and it'll basically add both of these sources. And now you need to install three things from CyDIA. So some of you may already have AppSync Unified installed, so if you already do, you don't need to install it again, but I'm just going to show you how to do it in this video. So once you've added those sources, just go to the sources you've added. So for example, this one, go to all packages and scroll down until you get to E, where it says extender with a 3 in the name, blue icon. Tap on that and install this one, so you can actually just go into there, tap on install, and then continue queuing. And then if you go back out to the other repo we added, which is the Angel X Wind one, or Karen's Pineapple repo, go to all packages and then see AppSync Unified here. This is the one you need to install. Make sure you don't accidentally install AppSync for iOS 4.0 Plus, because that one is very outdated and does not work with iOS 10. So make sure you bear that in mind. And then the final thing you're going to need to install is Filza File Manager, or you can also use iFile if you really want to, but I'd recommend using Filza since it's much more updated. So there's Filza File Manager, which is this one here. Install it, and it's basically a newer version of iFile, so that we can move a file around later on. So then once you've got all of those things installed, basically just respring your device, and you should be come up to your device with two new icons on your home screen, which is Extender and Filza. Now the first thing you need to do is go into the Extender application, and it should look something like this. You should have 4 tabs at the bottom, which include installed, downloads, and more. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the More tab, and you're going to need to fill out a few tabs here. So the first thing you're going to need to do is go to the Add Device section. Don't change anything here, and then just click on the Add Device button here, and it should bring up a prompt to log in with your Apple ID if you haven't already saved it below. But basically, when it asks you for your Apple ID, put your Apple ID and password in, and save, and just click on OK, and it should do this. But I've already done this on this device, so it is saying it's already been added. But if you haven't done this before, then it will basically say that it has been added to your account. The next thing you need to do is scroll down to the set/change team ID, and this is where you're going to see 3 boxes: current and original and team ID. Just tap on the I don't know via Apple login button, and again that's just going to do the same thing it did before, where it's going to say success, and it's going to ask you to actually put your Apple ID in as well. Just tap on OK, and then go into the app switcher, close out of Extender, and then open it up again to apply that change that it's made. Then go back to the More tab, and this is where we're going to need to start setting up the auto signing feature. So if you want to do it auto signing, there is a thing that some people are reporting where it does drain your battery life a bit faster, since the application is constantly running in the background. But I haven't really experienced that too much. But if you do experience that, what you can do is actually manually re-sign it, which I will show you how to do after. So if you want to do it that way, then I continue, just wait until we get to that point in the video. But as you can see, when you get down here, you're going to need to go to the Save Apple Login section, or Save Login Apple, and type in your Apple ID and password. So for some reason, it doesn't actually censor out the password here, so I've just set this to a temporary one that I'm going to change as soon as I've finished recording this video, so don't bother trying that. But as you can see, I've actually just made a test Apple ID that has nothing linked to it. Made this one the other day, just because since you are having your password shown in here, if someone were to get a hold of your Apple device and actually just open up this application, they'd be able to see your password. So I recommend making a second account and just setting a dummy password that you only use for this account, so that it's very safe. Now, it's not going to be sent to any servers except for Apple servers. It is only used for installing the jailbreak applications on your device, but it is pretty safe. The only problem I have with it is that people can actually open the application and see it. So once you've actually entered the Apple ID and password in there, go down to the auto signed IPA section and enable this, and enable password Wi-Fi disconnect prevention, and just enable both of those. And now that's all you need to enable in here for now. And now what we need to do is actually download the YALU IPA file, or whichever one we're using. So like I said, it does work with iOS 10, and it should work with iOS 9, although I haven't tested that myself. But basically just go back to the post which we went to before, and in the download links section we've got all the main files that we can need here. So for this device it's on iOS 10.2, so we want to go to the YALU jailbreak website and download the YALU 102 beta 7 IPA file. So just tap on the link here, It'll basically open up this page here. Now you may be tempted to click on the Open in Extender button there, but don't press that. That's not what we want, because it won't work. What we need to do is tap on the More button and then go over to where you see Import with Filza and tap on that, and it'll open it in Filza File Manager. Then as you can see, we've got the YALU IPA file in here. So what you want to do is basically just tap and hold on it and make sure it's checked there, and then tap on Move in the bottom of the screen, then tap on the Extender folder and then the Auto Sign folder, and then basically just tap on the clipboard and then tap on Paste to paste it in this folder. But as you can see, I've already got it in here, so we don't need to do it again. But as you can see, that's all you really need to do with Filza File Manager. And then go back into the CyDIA Extender application and go to the Select IPA section under the More tab, and then select the IPA file which you actually just inserted into Filza. If you don't see it show up here, just basically close the application in the multitasking and open it up again, and it should show up there perfectly fine. Just tap on it to check mark it, and then you're actually pretty much good to go. So this is actually fully set up now, as long as everything's inserted correctly, to install that application every 7 days. Now if you do get any errors, I do recommend first of all just pressing this Revoke All Certificates Now button. Basically what that will do is make sure you don't get any issues saying you already have a certificate. But if you do get an error saying you already have a certificate signed, just click on that button and it should fix that issue. But as you can see, if we go out now to test this, all we need to do to test it is basically just go to the home screen, delete the YALU 102 application, and then if we respring our device and wait about a minute, it should reinstall the application automatically. So I'm just going to respring and demonstrate that now. Okay, so once we've finished respringing, we should be able to come back up to our home screen and then wait for about 60 seconds or so, and we should get some notifications in the top saying from CyDIA Extender that it is installing the application. So we'll just give this a second and I'll come back when it starts doing that. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a notification from Extender saying the certificate was authenticated, the Apple ID was authenticated, and we should see it installing the application. So you get quite a few notifications here, and once it actually has authenticated everything, it says installed YALU 102, and the application is back on our home screen. We do have to go and trust it in settings for it to actually work. So to fix that error, as usual, just go to General and Profiles and Device Management and trust the profile that we created, and then the application should work as expected, and it should reinstall this application every 7 days. The way it works is it actually re-signs it every 5 days. So once it's got 2 days left on it, then it will actually re-sign it, so it's done in advance. So if you reboot your device, you actually won't need to use a computer to do it again. But like I said, this auto signing feature may actually drain your battery. So if you do experience that, what you can do is actually go back to the More tab in the application and disable the auto signer IPA option. Then once you want to re-sign the application, for example, you just basically tap on it in the Installed tab, tap on Resign, and it'll basically go ahead and do the exact same thing. Enter your Apple ID if you haven't saved it before, and then just give it a few seconds and it should come up with a message saying that